Hello everyone, welcome back to FPL Jedi Show. It is Gameweek 11 deadline stream. My name is Hafiz and I would like to welcome Azmin to the stream. How's your feeling coming to this deadline, man?
Oh, it's great. I've done a bit of reading, and I like the way my team is looking at the moment. It's good to see. Although ranking wise is not great, but team wise, I'm very satisfied with how it's looking at the moment. How the team is shaping up. I still have some issues on the team that I need to fix, but we're getting there.
Yep, both of us at least had a green arrow in game week 10. But first of all, would like to apologize that we did not go during our midweek stream. Okay, but we are here today. Before we go through the team news and also pressure from game week 11, why not we just take a quick recap, man? How we done in game week 10? We go first with your team, man. You scored 79 points, and your rank definitely jumped from 4.4 million to 3.9. Can you talk through your team?
Yep. So basically, it's actually 75 because I took a hit. But the changes I made was to bring in Douglas Lewis and Saka, and unfortunately, the changes, the people I sold, unfortunately, one of them was Mbuemo. So that's unfortunate. But but all in all, at least both at the end of the day, they still returned. Both players that I brought in still returned. And Saka, whom I actually made into my captain. So that's I got a bit lucky there. so it wasn't, it wasn't the greatest in terms of the movement, but fortunately his assist, because the popular captain of the week, which was Salah, didn't was unlucky not to score more than a goal, but he did score a goal, but it did so not too far from Saka, only 2 points or 1 point difference if you have to take that into account. So the other person I sold, of course, was Rashford, the last of the Manchester United players. The mass exodus continues, and I just want to mention, let's say if Fulham win today against Manchester United, does that signal the end of ETH? We're not sure, but never mind. Coming back to the team, so Simikas, Cash, lucky to get subbed out just before Villa concede sillily. Then you have White there as well. Some returns. Pedro Porro didn't return, and Spurs conceding. So the Udogi owners laughing at the Pedro Porro owners this week after what happened the week before. Then you have Gordon, who blanked, unfortunately. Then Douglas Lewis, my transfer, still managed to return an assist. So, it's nice. I liked having him, even but unfortunately, obviously, Villa's the better pick for Villa. And this last week was Diaby. Yeah, but I'm not going to complain, because at the same time, Watkins finally blanked. so it turned out into a good week for me because of that. And of course, Darwin, who's looking really doing really well. And he's really Klopp seems to speak highly of him at the moment. It looks like he can't do no wrong. Although in midweek there was he scored a goal in midweek, which he took a horrible first touch. Only to correct. He got booed and laughed for it in the stadium, only for him to corner do a whack of a goal. So his confidence is sky high. Obviously, he's not letting any on-field distractions. Whether it's being booed or being laughed at, it seems like it doesn't bother him. Darwin, utter chaos. Love him, and he's great for Liverpool. And of course, the surprise, people who did a captain, and it was frustrating for me because I had considered Haaland at one point as the captaincy, knowing Manchester United's horrible defense, but of course I went for the slightly dangerous pick of Saka instead of the same Salah pick. Yeah, and Haaland, who clearly does not like Manchester United, just decided to come back and score 2 goals and assists. So those who captained him definitely shot up the ranks. He's probably scoring 90 plus, which was something I could have done if I had the balls to keep the captaincy on him. So in the bench wise, no complaints, no real issues. Everyone who they didn't perform, they would deserve to be on the bench. So I mentioned early on the issue I have right now is Amduni, who I need to get rid of at some point. Of course, Ward-Prowse, who's not great in the position that he's playing, and so I really have to rely on his dead balls. So without them, he's pretty much bad. So I'm looking to get rid of him as well. Turner had a howler. He was responsible for Salah's goal last week. So I'm not looking to, I wouldn't be surprised if Turner gets sold. Gets replaced this week by the Greek keeper whom they brought in, the veteran, because that's something that you would not expect that veteran keeper to make a mistake. Gusto is also a problem because now that Reece James is back, and even when Reece James was on the bench, it wasn't Gusto didn't start either. It was Cucurella and
Sassi, something like that.
Yeah, Sassi, Colwill, and Silva instead. So yeah, this is so yeah, it's obviously Gusto was nice to have as a if Reece James isn't there, then he'll automatically slot in. But even now, that doesn't seem to be the case. But of course, with Chelsea screwing up last week as well, who knows what will happen? Pochettino will still look to see how he can change it, because despite leading to I'm sorry, that was the previous match, but they lost to Brentford of all, as 2-0. They got humiliated. So basically that was my issue with my issues are pretty much all on the bench. And Pickford, just shout out to Pickford, although he did get a yellow card, but he got a rare clean sheet. So somehow he's still in my team, and let's see how we go this week.
Yep. But the other important thing about your team, you still have your wild card, so you can actually do it to restructure back your team. The other point that I want to make, you already have triple up in terms of Liverpool assets, looking great for sure. Moving forward, especially with Darwin coming back into play, he's on form, 10 points. Carabao Cup, he did score off the bench, right? And he should be starting again against another tasty match this week against Luton. We touch on the fixture later. Other than that, I think that captaining Saka is a bold move. At least he got an assist from that 5-0 win Arsenal against Sheffield United. He doesn't return more than an assist, but still deliver in terms of attacking return. And hopefully,
so just wanted to point out with the Saka thing, because Arteta decided to use the Sheffield United match to make to rest some players. So you had Odegaard didn't play. Gabriel didn't play, so it did affect that and because I had gone into that with the mentality of captain whoever plays Sheffield United, because Sheffield United look garbage. But in the end, I got lucky in that sense that that at least Saka still returned. So
like we mentioned offline, maybe the strategy that we should target each week is actually targeting the team that playing the likes of Luton, Burnley, or even Sheffield United, because they are the teams that are really conceding goals. All right, quickly to my teams. It touched a bit. I played my wildcard last week and scored 76 points. I think it's a decent one. It's not a great one, because I can see some in community that scored higher than 80 points. So I think it's just a decent. But I still feel that's a good point for me, because it actually increased my rank from 1.2 to 900,000 just inside the 1 million bracket, which will motivate me to do better moving forward. I think easily my hero for this week is Brentwood, I think, because he coming off the bench for Gabriel, who disappointing again, because I still had him, even though we know already Arteta playing style, like he can actually drop Gabriel at any point, but because of the template that the wildcarders for Gabriel 10, they will have one cheap defender from Arsenal team who is currently Gabriel with 4.7 million. But as you know, that's where the deja vu of Gameweek 1 coming back, Gabriel bench, and I'm actually scrambling to see who are my defender on my bench. But Burnley, who actually played earlier than Everton. I think Everton played on Sunday. Yeah, on Saturday, Charlie Taylor has actually scored a goal, Burnley against Bournemouth. So there is also a potential good goal or a good score from my bench. But Taylor is on my second bench. So what the prospect of Everton keeping a clean sheet against West Ham? As you mentioned, we got a rare clean sheet. I got 6 points and also 2 bonus points from Brentford. So well done to. I think I can. I should say that I got lucky for that. So, but it is sometimes FPL. We just need some luck in this game, right?
Yeah. So it's quite a I because I was tracking that your Gabriel thing and then the Brantwaite thing, so I was like, oh, well done, that's great. And plus Brantwaite didn't just get a clean sheet, you got two additional points there, so well done, that's
Yep.
great. The last
Other
thing
than
I
that,
wanted Gabriel to come in as a last minute sub to protect. So
yeah. Other than that, like Azmin mentioned, we got lucky on that cash clean sheet. I'll take it. Simicas 6 points. I captain Salah like others, but in terms of stats, actually, Halin still the most captain last week with around 4.4 million, and 2.2 million. Salah is actually the second highest captainess for last week with 2.2, and he delivered again, but only 8 points. But Haaland will actually go mad with 16 points against Manchester United. So there will be another big call this week against Haaland and Salah captain picks for this week. Other than that, as we did mention, Chelsea lost to Brentford, so Palmer only got 2 points. Son 10 points, continue to tick, and I think he the one to get if you have the money for Spurs asset moving forward. But Madison, if you have Madison, he still continue to produce point with 6 points. Saka 6, Bowen maybe can I say a disappointing. We expect more than something attack return against Everton, but Everton kept the clean sheet. Maybe we see how it goes for the next one. And Watkins blank, a rare one I think because people expect something for him to score against Luton Town. So I can say a disappointing because if you had Darwin or Callum Wilson, you have double-digit points from those players who actually can be a replacement for Watkins if you do not have money.
Yeah, so there's a lot. I mean, at the end of the day, what's refreshing about this season so far is that there are lots of options, lots of ways to actually get a good score, and not get sidetracked too badly. So yeah, you just need to find the right balance. So Bowen had the rare blank, but I mean, I'm starting to really rate Everton's defense at the moment. So it's interesting to see.
It's interesting for you to point out because Everton actually kept another clean sheet and a win against
West Ham.
In Carabao Cup during midweek.
In the Carabao Cup.
So I think that's another good thing in terms of Everton form right now, and maybe we should be more comfortable to play those Everton goalkeeper or defender. All right, man. Are you on mute?
So even then I'm still laughing because you're still trying to grasp of having an Everton defender player, but it looks like it can happen. It looks like there may be dividends there.
Okay, man. Let's jump to Gameweek 11 fixture. This week there are 2 big match. I can easily say for this week we got Newcastle versus Arsenal, and we got the Spurs versus Chelsea London Derby on Monday night. Other than that, the early kickoff, an important game I feel for Erik ten Hag team. As you mentioned, he's under fire right now in terms of performance. They lost again last week, and then during midweek again Newcastle at home 3-0. Even though I can say Ten Hag feel a pretty strong team. It's not like a second fielder team, unlike Newcastle who actually fielded really second team, but they still managed to get a win at Old Trafford, and this is an important match, Fulham versus Manchester United. Other than that, at 11 p.m. Malaysian time, we got 5 matches there. Brentford versus West Ham, another interesting match. Can Mbomo continue his double digit? 14 points so far, right? Double digit points back to back. but it's against West Ham, so it's another decent team. They got an important win in during Carabao Cup against Arsenal, so their moral a bit high. Other than that, Burnley, can they get an important win against Crystal Palace at home? They really need points right now. We did touch about Everton versus Brighton. Everton on form, they will definitely be a better steal at home, but it's against Brighton. But it's an interesting match. Brighton did only drew against Fulham last week. We got Man City Bournemouth match, the money ball game, can I say? Because this is where the people are going to target in terms of captaincy. Sheffield United versus Wolves, another important match for Sheffield United. But Wolves also, can they continue to get anything from the promoted side? They're still in decent form. We already touched about Newcastle Arsenal in midnight game. On Sunday itself, we have Forest versus Villa. Villa really on form right now. And then we have Luton against Liverpool on midnight Sunday. Another interesting match for who looking at captaincy. And this could be another money ball game for this week, man. On Monday, Spurs versus Chelsea. What you can make up of this Game 11 fixture? You're on mute, man.
Ending with a nice London derby to wrap it all up. So yeah, so as you say, there's a lot of very attractive fixtures here. Manchester City, Bournemouth obviously stand out, and then Luton versus Liverpool stand out as well. I'd also like to mention Brentford versus West Ham. West Ham have been looking really dodgy, at least in terms of defense, and it looks like they've lost a couple of players as well. So we'll look into that later. Wolves versus Sheffield, I would have jumped into it because you know how just a couple of minutes ago I was talking about captain someone to play against Sheffield United. Now, obviously, in this week it looks that's not going to happen. But I was looking at maybe getting a Wolves player for this one, but with Neto out, I'm not sure how bad with the Wolves could be without him. But I still think Gary O'Neill's done a great job, and I think that there'll be other players to step up, and Hwang Hee-chan. And I'm tipping Cunha to score, Matthias Cunha. But of course, 1 week punt if you don't mind benching him or selling him again next week. But I do feel that Cunha will score. Anyway, so you got Burnley, Crystal Palace, also fun, also a bit more interesting as well due to some injury updates which we'll look at. But obviously the most interesting one is Newcastle versus Arsenal. So you got two teams at the top, jousting their way, trying to put one over the other, and both these teams are in the Champions League as well, so they will be playing midweek as well. So how they balance it up, you know that Newcastle has started to get injuries, and the team is starting to impact. And even midweek there was another injury, which is I think was Target. So we'll look at that as well. Arsenal, on the other hand, seem to be better. They frustrated after having kicked out of the Carabao Cup, although I do feel that it's not a priority for them. They're not going, despite Arteta whinging about it, I think he's not going to be worried too much about it, because I think he needs to win this league this season, either that or the Champions League, either way. So that is his priority. So he won't be fussed about that. Jesus, of course, is still out, and KTR is still in, and Odegaard should be playing as well, but never mind, we'll take a look at the injuries later. I don't want to jump the gun.
Since you already jumped into the team news, why not we go to the first match, an important one for all the Manchester United fans. Fulham versus Manchester United. What has been Marco Silva and Ten Hag been?
All right, so Fulham, there's no, so Fulham really, in terms of the key players, no one is except Iza Diop, but then Bassi has slotted nicely. So other than that, Castagne, Bassi, Wim, and Robinson will make up the bottom four. The back four. Leno could have a nice day, with a lot of Manchester United just trying to score, which may lead to a lot of shots on target, off target, and maybe rack up some nice saves. On Manchester United side, so Wan-Bissaka is back, but he may not likely come this week because he only played in midweek. Casemiro is out. So to be fair, he wasn't that great anyway. So this season. So Amrabat and McTominay should be there. So McTominay, of course, Manchester United's hero at the moment. And would you believe it? McTominay is currently the top scorer for Manchester United at the moment. It's incredible to look at it, but yeah, it is the case. You know, they can check it out, and it shows. It gives an example of how bad Manchester United are, that their main players whom you expect to score goals aren't doing the job. So it really is a damning perception on Eric Ten Hag at the moment. So it's pretty poor. So let's see how we go with this match. But I do feel that Fulham will smell blood for this one and will go up against a Manchester United that continue to be rocked with a lot of off-field issues. You know, now there's rumors of discontent in the dressing room. So a lot of people are upset with how some players are getting preferential treatment. So let's see how we go there. So yeah, I just checked out back the stats. Yes, McTominay is the top scorer with 3 goals, followed by Fernandes with 2. So it's incredible stat, incredible, and gosh, I don't know what to say.
Okay, so in terms of Manchester United, Ten Hag did mention he is a fighter. He will fight for his job and also for his team. We shall see how the Manchester United perform. But for those Rashford and Bruno owner, or even Onana owner, I quickly take a look at the percentage selected by managers. Onana 14%, Rashford 14%, Bruno 13%. Those are the top 3 Manchester United that the managers are having right now. I think the wildcarders should not have any more Manchester United except if you still have. I think this is the match that you expect there to perform, but it's going to be a tough one against away to Fulham. Like Azmin mentioned, they smell blood, and this could be a really dodgy game against Fulham.
I mean, just when you look into Manchester United's XG for the past 5 matches coming into this one is not that high. 6.11. So that's not great at all, to be honest. So, you know, when you consider the likes of Arsenal at 9.8 and Liverpool at 12 points, this is after the last 5 matches. So Fulham, I always tend to forget that at the end of the day they are managed by Marco Silva. He may not have the staff, the squad to do really well, but they can really frustrate Manchester United, and I do feel this might be another.
They even managed to get a draw against Brighton last week. So
yes,
yeah.
So yeah, can't underestimate Marco Silva, and I do feel that this could, if not 1-0, then 0-0. Or if not 1-0 to Fulham, then it might be a draw, even, especially with the early match.
Okay. And let's go to the next one. Team news for Brentford versus West Ham. Interesting match because, Brentford got a win against Chelsea last week, but West Ham are also high flying after getting that 3-1 win against Arsenal during midweek.
Yep. So Brentford, some of the fringe players are coming back, but not an issue. I mean, the main players are all there. So Mbeumo, Mope, Risa to continue up top. You know, those who had faith with Mbeumo last week got to thank Mope for that one. What on earth happened there? So yeah, I think it's been talked to death in other YouTubers and other streams, so that's fine. West Ham. So West Ham, Alvarez and Paqueta are definitely out. They are suspended. So, they definitely had to make some changes. Obviously, that means Kudus comes in, which is actually quite a good sign for West Ham getting him in. But Kurt Zuma might be a doubt. So we're not sure whether he'll actually play without him. That I guess Dawson might slot in. But West Ham have been very leaky. Anyway, so I do feel there's some midfielder confusion as to who is tasked with doing defensive midfielder, because at the moment it seems Susek is the one who's going further forward and Ward-Prowse is holding back. But at the end of the day, Ward-Prowse is not a holding midfielder, and I think that is also a problem. Ward-Prowse is more like a box-to-box playmaker, and then spraying passes, but he can't. He's nowhere like the holding defender. So, holding midfielder. So that's something that Moyes needs to sort out because it's looking really bad at the moment. In fact, West Ham's defensive at the moment is one of the worst. So Brentford are on a high, and obviously those who sold him the week before or 2 weeks before are wondering, do we bring him back in? But of course, you have to look at the fixtures, and after West Ham, I think they play Liverpool
and Arsenal.
I think Arsenal. Oh, okay, all right, yeah. So it's you need to take that into account, if you're planning to bring him back, because I'm one of them looking to see whether it's viable.
Yeah, I had take a look Liverpool and Arsenal after that, man.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. Liverpool's defense, even though it has improved, but it is susceptible, especially to counter attack, which is something Brentford are good at.
Okay, we shall see the transfer traffic later. Next game, man, Burnley versus Crystal Palace. I think in terms of FPL assets this week is more interesting. Is bringing in Crystal Palace assets. There is some good news from Hodgson in terms of Azmin and Olise.
Okay, so Burnley, it's going to hurt them. But Foster looks like he's not going to be able to make it. So he's ill, and there's no specification as to why he's ill, but we're not sure. But he's pretty much the main start. So that means Kolyosho Amdouni will continue to play, and I'm not sure about Odo. But again, the thing with Burnley is that because of the way that they're performing at the moment, they may shake it up. Now, obviously, Charlie Taylor, who scored last week, should those who want to take a punt on him, he'll continue to start. So he'll definitely get the start. So don't worry there. Having said that, let's not get too overhyped about Charlie Taylor, after him scoring. Is it something he's going to do often? We're not sure. Let's consider he isn't that young. So and yeah, sure. It may just be the collector item for this season, that goal. Moving to Palace, yes. So looks like Olise is not fit, not ready yet, as far as I can know. But apparently Eze will be in the squad. So whether he will start or he'll be on the bench, we're not sure. Yeah, so I would, from my viewpoint, I would probably wait because I suspect that he may be only on the bench, but he can score against this Burnley side. So I don't think that's an issue. But I would think that someone like Edouard might be a more safer pick. Mitchell, he went off injured in game week 10, but apparently it was just a precaution. He felt something, but apparently there's no issue. He's been training all week, so he's fit as well. So no issues. Now Palace. I've been talking in the past couple of weeks about how their defense is not as great as it looks against really attacking sides. They're gonna falter, and we've seen that. But against Burnley, I think that if that doesn't apply, I do believe that Crystal Palace have a good chance of keeping clean sheet. And I know, the community out there have been talking about maybe bringing in Anderson or Guer, and I concur. If you need a defender, if you're short of a defender, then I think they can keep a clean sheet this week.
Just want to point out, Mark Gill price. Since you talk about the potential bringing any Crystal Palace, already rise to 4.6. To my disappointment, because I'm not too sure about that, but he's already rise, and to my disappointment, because he's one of the player that I'm eyeing if I want to bring in. So every 0.1 counts, right? Especially my team value are quite low. Other than that, just want to point out, you did mention about playing Charlie Taylor this week. It's nice to have a goal last week, but Taylor scored 8 years before this. His goal drop before that goal, so it's not like he's going to score every other week. But another point also, Burnley has not kept any clean sheet so far this season. So I just want to remind that there is more potential Palace keeping a clean sheet rather than Burnley. But if you feel like to play Charlie Taylor this week, so be it, if you want to. Okay, all right. Next one, Everton versus Brighton, mate. More better form in terms of Everton assets this week, but it's against Brighton. So what's the latest news for both teams?
So Everton, so apparently Coleman can be involved. Ali could, is back on the grass and they Gomez. So nothing really significant Everton wise really. No significant ones. I mean, for me, the significant news for Everton versus Brighton is Calvert-Lewin seems to be continue to be available, and he did play in midweek, I think, but yeah, he was taken off quite early. I think they're managing him as well. So but those who want to pick it out as a nice differential, it's possible because I think that Everton is growing in strength at the moment. So Brighton, so Lamptey is available. Obviously, that means Estupinian is not. It's still going to be a while. Obviously, the biggest problems with Brighton is that March is out, which means that this Adingra, they're a lot hyped up at only 5 million, is going to continue to start. So whether or not Lallana will start, I'm not sure. It's a toss-up, really. It could be Ansu Fati who starts instead because it is a problem there. So Mitoma, of course, should continue to start. Obviously, Mitoma has the most owners for FPL, so he should be okay. Now Ferguson. So the thing with Ferguson is that although this has him predicted to start, he was criticized quite a bit by RDZ, Deserby, in terms of he's still not really working with the team. There's still a lot of things that he's not doing that he should be doing. So that's why I think there's a lot of variables in terms of who gets to start here, and there's plenty of people predicting Pedro and Fati will start instead, or Pedro and Lallana, not Ferguson. So we'll see.
Pedro and Fati also not in this predicted lineup, but he could easily be there, right?
Yeah. So it's a case of staying away from Brighton right now in terms of that, because it can be any like at least in there. So it's either Mitoma or no. But of course the cheap pick, because Adingra looks like he is secured the start. Yeah, in the absence
for now,
of
after absence of solid match, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I'm not convinced though. I do feel that Gross could always move up, and someone else slot in midfield. So that's why I'm staying away from Brighton.
All right. Pretty much to sum up what Azmin mentioned about Brighton, Mitoma or no one else. So let's go to the next team. Man City versus Dortmund. We want to know, especially from Pep Guardiola, just how his team shaping up for this game against Tasty match. Dortmund, mate, we expect a big goals again for this game. What's the latest news?
No, the really only person confirmed out is of course KDB. Everyone is fine. Rodri and Stones being back has shown that it could be a key difference, and well, of course, the more options available to Pep, the more variables happen. And so I mean this match has Doku there, but we saw Grealish having an impact last week as well. So it could be Grealish also back, so it's up in the air. It can really things change. Obviously without Palmer, it makes it easy. Palmer's gone off, but on the Bournemouth side, there's no real issues. But having lost Neto last week, it is a big problem. Yeah, so Radu comes in. I'm not sure I rate him. So this is a couple off with Bournemouth's poor record, and it's why I mentioned Haaland is currently the best favorite to be captain for this week, given that they are also at home.
Yep, so as you can see, with KDB news, we are the unknown date of return for KDB. The likes of Alvarez can be a safe option if you have him in the team. This is the match that you want him for sure, because he's been taking corners and also free kicks, right? So I think he is really good in terms of his pricing also, and you could be actually getting the dividend for this week against Bournemouth for sure. But I think the one person, Haaland, is back, especially after that 16 points last week. He looks decent to be the captain for this week, So that's pretty much sum up for Man City versus Bournemouth. Next game, Sheffield United versus Wolves. Not much love for Sheffield United assets, but Wolves, The most important news coming from them is actually about Neto injury. But what else that you can share about both teams?
Sheffield United, what can I say? I don't know. It's really Ollie McBurney is the person who will go into the squad if he's back. If you look at the lineup right now, Archer isn't even in that predicted lineup anymore. So it goes to show how volatile Sheffield United are at the moment as Heckingbottom desperately tries to find the right fit of some semblance of a squad that can get a result. So obviously the biggest problem with Wolves is the fact that Neto is out, so he'll out. So you've got Kalajdzic will slot in, and in this predicted lineup is a 3-4-3. So Hichan and Matis Kuna, but Wolves will be too strong for Sheffield United. Wolves look so much better attacking, although defensive wise they still have issues. But attacking wise, let's not forget they did down Manchester City, so they are
Capable.
At least mentality wise, they are there. They are doing well. So I don't think they'll be phased one bit, and Wolves should come off with yet another win against Sheffield.
Yeah. Even though the predicted line mentioned about Brewster playing, Brewster did start last week against Arsenal away, but maybe because of tactical, I don't know. But I do expect Archer to start against Wolves, and with Archer, you have a chance of getting goals because he can do that. I think I remember that 2 goals against Everton earlier this season. So maybe that what he will do, but we do still expect Wolves to win this game. All right, next game, which is the important one, mate. Newcastle versus Arsenal. There's a lot of interest. There's a lot of managers still having Newcastle assets, like the Trippier, Burn, Gordon, and Arsenal assets like Saka, even to an extent Martinelli and so on. So what's the latest news mean for both teams?
So the biggest news, at least on the Newcastle side, is just that Target got injured. Now he's out as well. So because previously there was some rumors, there was some talk on the net that it's potentially Target might slot in at left back and Burn might go in as a centre back, and Lascelles will get benched. And simply because I think quite a few people who sold Botman and maybe got in Lascelles instead, so because Lascelles is a nice cheap pick there. But now that's not going to happen because Target is out. So other than that, everyone's still the same. Wilson is Isaac is still out, Botman's still out, and of course Harvey Barnes is still out, which means Gordon and Almiron automatically get their spots. Okay, so on Arsenal side, looks like Odegaard didn't play, because on the bench he's been nursing injury. Arteta's giving him a rest, but he looks like he'll come back in this week. And obviously Arteta felt was safe enough to not have to play him against Sheffield. So Jesus is still out. So now the question is, how do Arsenal line up? So in this lineup, Nketiah isn't even predicted to start. I
think I disagree with the predicted lineup. I think Nketiah should be there instead of Hafiz. That's my feeling.
Yeah. So the thing is Havertz, he hasn't shown yet he's deserving yet, but maybe he'd be better against Newcastle because it's going to be a tough match. But because Nketiah, one thing with Nketiah is he doesn't defend. He's not. He's pressing. Does pressing is horrible. He's not. He's there as a fox in the box, just looking to score goals. So that may be a reason why he may not start. But other than that, everyone else should be back. Gabriel should come back in the start. So why Gabriel Tomiyasu? Obviously, and Pate is still injured as well. So the only other thing is Raya looks like he's still going to start over Ramsdale.
Yeah. I mean, just a quick question. If you have any Newcastle or Arsenal players this week, would you play all of them, or what do you think, Min?
Okay, so I'm just running in terms of some statistics in terms of the XG for Newcastle. Newcastle's XG is the highest in the past 5 matches. It is the highest of all teams, which is 13.66 based on Fantasy Football Hub. Thanks very much. So it's just hard even against Arsenal. Can you not pick him even though the XGC of Arsenal is pretty good, but it's just hard not to go with such a good XG. So obviously those who, I think there were some who went for Wilson last week and got rewarded. You should continue to start. Why not? And obviously those who still have Trippier, you may concede, but the chances for attacking returns is still there. Yeah. So on the Newcastle side, those with the likes of Shah and Trippier, I think you should start them. On the Arsenal side, though, it might be a different picture. Now, Arsenal, in terms of XG, is 9.84. So obviously, people who have Saka will still continue to start. So the question is, can they hold up against can they keep a clean sheet against Newcastle? And I'm not so sure that's possible.
So in other words, you are predicting Newcastle going to win against Arsenal, right?
Well, Newcastle are going to score against Arsenal. We don't know they'll win. I'm not so sure. But the thing is, across the last 5 matches, Arsenal's XGC is the best. Okay. So that's the thing. So they've got the best of the teams in the XGC across the past 5 matches, but Newcastle have the best XG across 5 matches, which is why this match is so interesting to watch. So I want to make sure I don't miss.
Even out each other, and this could end up with a draw, right?
Yeah, it might. Well, I think there'll be a result. I just can't figure out who. I think Newcastle might win. So we'll see.
All right.
Anyway,
let's go to the next match, man. Forest versus Villa. We already know in terms of Villa players continue to perform last week against Luton Town, but this is another team. Forest, but it's away. So what's the latest news for both teams?
Yeah, so Awani, is still very, very vague in terms of whether he'll be ready. Availability uncertain, although the predicted lineup does have him there. Yeah, so other than that, no. Yeah, it's pretty much same old for Forest. So Origi is out. Wood is out, which really hurts because given that he did score, the last time he started. Villa most of them should be fine. So just that Moreno could come back, but given Villa are doing well at the moment, I don't see why Umeri would she can change, and with Digne still doing okay. So one question with Forest which is Turner. Is he going to start? Will he still?
Any rumors that Turner might lose his spot? Is it?
Yeah, because okay, they brought in this veteran Greek keeper who was quite good previously before he left, and the howler that allowed Salah to score, that was just unacceptable. And based on Nottingham Forest forums, there's been plenty of fans calling for him to be replaced. It's time. He's done for it now. So yeah, I would have. If I would bet 10 cents on it, I'd say he will lose his spot.
We shall see this week, man.
I must say, because I do have Turner, but that leaves Pickford as my only option at the moment. So yeah, it is. I don't like it, but yeah, I do think Turner will lose his spot this week.
Okay, interesting. Let's go to the next match, man. Which is Luton Town versus Liverpool. We did mention about Liverpool just now. They on high flying. They won against maybe Carabao Cup. So what's the latest news for both teams?
So no changes for Luton. Same old. It's just and of course no one's going for the assets. Even Morris. So because they may just chop and change as they again trying to find the right combination, and it feels like it's just going to be damage control with this one for Luton. It's not a game that they'll be expecting to get a result. Liverpool are high flying at the moment. They are insane. So the only thing is, sadly, Luis Diaz, still, because of the family off-field issues, whether or not he will want to play or be distracted, we don't know. So Obviously, Klopp is not putting any pressure. There's no real reason for pressure given Liverpool are doing well at the moment. So Klopp is knowing Klopp as his man management, he's going to give Diaz the time he needs and leave it up to Diaz whether or not he'll be ready to play. So it does. So Nunez continues to play up front, and midweek he didn't start. Salah was totally rested, but Nunez came in as a sub, and scored the cracker of a goal after the ugliest first touch for a striker that I've seen in football, only for him to recover and score. So anyway, but the biggest thing for me with Liverpool is that midfield. It looks so much stronger. Gravenberch is really stepping up and doing well. Szoboszlai doing the work of two people there as well, and together they are helping to improve McAllister. So we've seen McAllister at the start when he first joined Liverpool. He's very unstable, really with some wayward passing and missed passes, but he's also improved with those two around him. So it's looking good, that Liverpool midfield. And I do feel that Liverpool currently have the second strongest XG in the past 5 matches after Newcastle. So it's really good to see, and I'm looking forward to seeing this Liverpool. As a Liverpool fan, I'm very happy.
I mean, I think this is an interesting match because this is also a good audition in terms of Liverpool explosiveness. We want to see whether Darwin can perform. If he scored a brace or a hat-trick in this game, I can pretty sure next week we'll talk about him more. Another point that you mentioned about midfield, I think Szoboszlai coming into frame more now. He got that 2 assists last week with 3 bonus points. So I think that's also another sleeper that we've been talking early season, but now we might talk more about him if let's say he continues to perform. He is a 90 minutes man, right, man?
Yeah. At his age, he's just, the Hungarian captain is really looking good at him.
All right, good stuff. Last game, Spurs Chelsea. We shall see the return of Pochettino back to Spurs. So what's the latest news, man, for Spurs and Chelsea team? As we know, Chelsea lost against Brentford last week. They're missing the last Modric and Enzo Fernandez. But at the same time, Spurs also losing about Udogie. So what's the latest news for both teams, especially for these players?
So on the tweet we're talking about Udogie, and obviously Udogie is being key, especially to some FPL managers who still have him. So we will see how it progresses. That's why he said a few days until. So Spurs versus Chelsea is the Monday night game. So there's still some time for Udogie. Having said that, personally, I don't think he'll be ready yet. I just feel that it's unnecessary to rush him out. If that's his prognosis on a Friday night, I don't think he'll be ready. Emerson Royal should slot and he's okay. Doesn't need to be rushed. Udogie doesn't need to be rushed against Chelsea. If it was maybe City or Liverpool, may have a different discussion. So other than that, everyone's fine. So Son, Richarlison, Kulusevski, Madison, they were all raring to go, and again, they are ready to rock as the top team in the league at the moment. Chelsea side, Reece James finally started in the EFL Cup in midweek. So will he be ready to start this week? I don't think so. I think he will still be on the bench because the way Pochettino is being finally smart with Reece James, sub appearance, final start again. No, not gonna happen. He'll be benched again. So although it is Monday night, but I think Reece James, they really need to be careful. One game a week, one starting game a week is the most. So Modric is back, so it looks like he's going to slot in. So you got that. I more or less agree with that. Sterling, Gallagher, Modric, and Palmer. So that means that Jackson is going to be benched. So Jackson is nowhere the player, as we all found out during the first few weeks of the opening start of the season. I think, and Palmer is looking a really good pick, a really good player, but because he's more of a supporting player rather than the main striker. So I think Hafiz, you can't wait for Nkunku to be back. I think if Nkunku is back, he will really push it up, and Palmer will be able to benefit as well. So What's your call for this match, Hafiz? It's your team.
I think if you offer me a draw before this game, I think I'll take it. But with the form that Spurs having right now, I mean, and Chelsea still unstable. Sadly, I want to say maybe Spurs could actually win this game.
Well, yeah. They are relatively not far from each other, and statistically wise, it is possible for them to draw. In the past 5 matches, Spurs XG is 8.19, but Chelsea is 8.09. In terms of XGC, Spurs 5.9, Chelsea is 6.1. So they're not far off. So it is possible, you know, if as long as Chelsea's defense holds up, it's possible to get a draw.
I think another positive note is that Chelsea play better against a team that do not play low block. So because Spurs going to play their own game, and Chelsea going to have freedom to do that. So maybe that can be an opportunity to Chelsea get something. So that's that. If I look at that positively, yeah. All right, man, good stuff. Spurs Chelsea, no concern. More interest in terms of Spurs asset rather than Chelsea asset for now, because for the next 5 fixtures, Chelsea going to be having a tough fixture, all right, a run-off fixture. But after somewhere in 16, is it? We'll have better in terms of fixture swing. Let's go to transfer traffic for this week, Min. We take a look. I think there is no surprise, or is it a surprise that Nketiah is actually the hottest property that people are going to get for this week, because he scored a hat-trick of goals last week against Sheffield United. Close enough with the second place, 313,000. Second is actually Tsimikas, continue to tick. His price already again rise, if I'm right. Is 4.6 or something like that. So he's really value. His fixture are good against Luton Town this week. You just never know, right? Tsimikas pop up in an assist, clean sheet, and 3 bonus points. That could easily happen. Douglas Luiz, man, continue to be in this top 5 transfer in again last week and this week also, despite only 7 points against Luton Town, but they still have fixture, decent fixture for the next 2 at least. Mbomo, man, maybe because of that 14 points against Chelsea, at home against West Ham, also decent enough for people to bring him in, despite after that Liverpool and Arsenal fixture. Is it a knee-jerk? I'm not too sure, but he's continue to tick for Brentford, and he's the talisman. And Hwang Hee-chan, Wolves, replacement for Neto, maybe that's the traffic for now, and against Sheffield United. So I think this is still decent transfer for this week. In terms of transfer out for this week, top 5, there's no surprise. The people who are actually doubt or even injured are actually in this top 5. I said the most transfer out this week, 355,000 managers, as part away from the Swedish striker Udogi. We mentioned the uncertainty. Even though if I have him right now, I might hold him because the match is actually on Monday and Udogi could be available. But 341,000 doesn't agree with me. So Udogi in second most transfer out this week. Neto, I think his injury more concern. He'll be out for a while. So Neto, direct replacement, maybe they like some Bomo or Hichan, or even can go for Douglas Luiz, right, me? So I think that's the price bracket for Neto. Odegaard missing last week game, and Arsenal against Newcastle this week. So maybe that's why Odegaard is out. But Estupiñán is clearly because he's not available for now. So what you can make out in terms of this transfer traffic for Gameweek 11, me?
Who are these managers who still have Estupiñán? It's like me with Eze last time, hanging on to Eze even though he's injured, and then did it. So it seems like there's still
definitely managers with high level of patience.
Yeah. So yeah. In terms of the transfers in Nketiah, well, not really surprised given his hat trick, but given the matchup, it is a surprise.
I think it's still a surprise against Newcastle.
Yeah. So Hee-chan is a nice, pleasant surprise, given that Neto is out on the other side, being sold out, but then people are bringing Hee-chan, whether it's a straight swap, I don't know. But clearly it also shows that, it's not so much about it is, I guess, confidence about Wolves' attack, but also a damning indictment of Sheffield's defense anyway. Even without Neto, Wolves are going to win. So, yeah. Mbeumo coming back in, and despite some dangerous fixtures in the horizon, but against West Ham, it looks like it's good enough for people to bring him in. Also, given West Ham's squad issues, Lewis, he's a nice filler, a nice enabler. Well, it's not really enabler; he is 5 point plus, but his price point is still decent enough to, to have in your squad, especially if you already. I would think a lot of people who bring in Douglas Lewis probably already have Watkins, who's not a top transfer this week. Simikas, thanks, Hafiz. I wasn't aware that his price continues to increase. So by the time I sell him, hopefully we got some profit out of that. And it may happen when I do my wild card. So we'll see where Andrew Robertson is by the time I won wild card.
And to a surprise, Mika still own lower by 10% of manager mean. So he's still not highly owned. Yeah. Around 9.9, 9.7%. So still can be a bit differential for now.
Yeah, so just a quick one on Simikas dilemma for those who don't have Simikas. They may, if they're looking to maximize on the Liverpool attack. So I have to admit that at this point in time, because I have Darwin and Salah, so obviously Simikas as well, but a part of me is wishing I didn't have Simikas so I can slot in a third Liverpool attacker, which which would have been Szoboszlai. Yeah, but because Szoboszlai is obviously he's almost double Simikas's price, but he also takes dead ball situations, and he's clearly moving further up than before, because now that with Gravenberch integrated fully into the squad, it gives Szoboszlai a bit of freedom to go up front and help out in the attack. So yeah, it would have been something I would have liked to do. So don't discount Szoboszlai to score another goal, and then we'll see. Again, we have to look at this discussion in Gameweek 12 because the signs are there.
Okay, I think I agree with you. Be patient, see how it goes this week, and discuss again in Gameweek 12 for Liverpool assets. But you already have 3 players from Liverpool, so that's good enough. We take a look about Scout Pick for Gameweek 11. There is no surprise, featuring triple up Liverpool players and triple up from Man City players, of which we see there, in terms of Man City, we have the likes of Stones in defense, and we have double attack there in the form of Alvarez and Haaland. For Liverpool, it is like Azmin team. He has Simikas, Salah, and Nunes as the representative from Liverpool. Other than that, Johnston in goal, away to Burnley, and they could easily keep a clean sheet. Dawson away to Sheffield United, 2 representative for Wolves against Sheffield United, really decent and high probability they actually can return against Sheffield United. Huang is there in midfield. Son against Chelsea, interesting, but there is no surprise in terms of form because he already continued to tick in terms of point, double-digit points, especially from last week, 10 points. So he is there for that concern. And we have Mbeumo featuring from back-to-back 14 points, and against West Ham, you did mention about West Ham being leaky. So if any golf involvement from Brentford, most likely Mbeumo will be in the mix. So what do you think, Min, about this Scout Picks vast team?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with most of it. Son still there, as to show that he will be able to score.
There is no Villa representative. Do you feel that they should have someone there?
I think this squad will make up for it. I don't think it's a problem. Villa play Forest at home. Forest are at home, so you could argue that's a bit of a more of a tougher matchup. Wolves, Huang Hee-chan plays Sheffield. Home or away, doesn't matter. Then you have the triple. The thing with City is that I do wish I could find a spot for a defender, because this is a game where they'll definitely keep a clean sheet, because Bournemouth's XG is horrific in the past few matches. So it's almost a given that City will keep a clean sheet. But I have issues to solve elsewhere, unfortunately. So yeah, Tsimikas, Nunes, and Salah. That's my triple up, City triple up. No issues there. So Buemo, I'm looking at you now. Leno on the bench, obviously when you do the scout picks, the ones on the bench are not just there. They are there because they are the best picks after the first 11. So Leno could be your sleeper pick for this week.
Right, we shall see. Quickly on the captain pick, just discuss in terms of voting. There's no surprise, Haaland is the most favorable captaincy for this week. 1,100 votes goes to the Norwegian striker. 62% voted for him. But second one, Salah, 20%. In terms of votes, other than that, Bruno not so much. Alvarez could be a dark horse pick for this week. And Son, Haaland versus Salah. Haaland for this week mean home against Bournemouth, but Liverpool away to Luton Town.
Bruno Fernandes, captain. You're having a laugh against Fulham. But anyway, so Haaland versus Salah. So the general consensus is, and I've seen this quite a bit from FPL from press. If you have Haaland and Salah, captain Haaland. If you have Haaland but not Salah, captain Haaland. If you have Salah but not Haaland, captain Salah. If you have neither, good luck. So obviously City are at home, so they have the and play Bournemouth, who are looking bad at the moment. Liverpool are away against Luton, and that is a huge swing factor, I guess, where picking the captaincy is concerned. So the question is now, is Haaland really the clear captaincy better over Salah? And I'd argue it's not. I do feel that Salah is still the better option. In totality now, we've seen City, no doubt City are stepping up gear. We've starting to see the signs there, but I do feel that, especially with the midweek Champions League in view, I do worry that City are going to start strong and then slow down, which I've seen them doing quite a lot this season. Yeah, Liverpool unfortunately do not have that issue. Their midweek match is Europa, so that's on Thursday, so plenty of time there. And I just bear in mind that Luton is a promoted side. Bournemouth isn't. So I feel Bournemouth will have a bit more noose there to hang on to not concede as much, whereas Luton is going to get trashed. So as a result, I'm putting my 2 cents worth and think Salah is going to be the better option. Yeah.
Yep. Other than that, Salah is a midfielder. Whenever he scored goal, he got 1 extra point over Haaland. If Liverpool kept a clean sheet, they got also another point there. So yeah, that could be easily a basic thing when you're picking about who to captain this week. Both have decent fixture. The only thing Salah playing away, but to a promoted side. So I think it is more toss of a coin, like you mentioned. But from last week performance, maybe people are more going for Haaland out that 60 point against Manchester United.
So moving from last weekend's results, where Haaland ended up being the better captaincy, with most of us having Salah as captain instead. So it's interesting, and it will continue to be a good discussion to have. There is a way that, so what I've been doing is I've been comparing the XGs and XGCs of each team, and what I've done is total them up to see, let's say for example City and Bournemouth, I'm totaling the XG score plus the XG of City plus the XGC of Bournemouth to see what the total score is, and then compare it with the Liverpool XG versus the XGC of Luton, and the score for Liverpool is so much higher. So that's I don't have any graphs to show it, but if this goes well, yeah, I'll plan for next week and show how exactly I'm looking at these things. So it's a different way now. So I plan to at least explore and see whether or not it's something viable. But at the same time, it shows that West Ham could really get trashed by Brentford. So let's see how it goes.
Okay, man. Let's go to our team pick. I go for my team first because I intend to roll my transfer as usual to all the wildcard days in Game Week 10, unless there's something strange in terms of team use. But so far, there's nothing. I'll play Arela because I have no other option. If you have the lights of the night, I think people are going to play Arela because there is a danger he's missing out in terms of playing. Other than that, Cash is my mainstay away to Forest. I have Simicas Luton away. But there is a decision who will be my third defender. At this point, I am more comfortable to play Brentford of Everton, even though playing home against Brighton. There is talk about playing Taylor this week, but we mentioned the potential of Palace keeping clean sheet, and in terms of stats, Burnley has never kept a clean sheet so far. Gabriel can be an option, but playing away to Newcastle is a tough match, and it could actually be a high-scoring game, or it could be, conceding any goal. And on top of that, Everton actually informed last week kept a clean sheet away to West Ham. Midweek kept a clean sheet again for Carabao Cup, and those form playing into my mind, man. And they're playing at home against Brighton, and Everton, we know, is the tough thing at home. They could actually frustrate Brighton, and with the Brighton inconsistent in terms of their team sheet, they could play into their playing style. So I think I'm pretty much going to play Brentford, and maybe because he deserved it to be there, 8 points from last week, so I should give him that chance to play this week. So maybe that's what I'm going to do. Other than that, in midfield, I'm going to play the rest of my team: Palmer, Bowen, likes of Saka, Son, and Salah, and Watkins, and also Haaland as my captain pick for this week. That's an obvious choice for this week. Yes, that's my team in. Anything to comment?
Well, it's a nice audition by Brentford. No doubt. Last week, I deserve to be starting. Put me on the starting level. So there you are. He's been rewarded. Yeah, I am worried about Areola, no doubt, but I think he will chalk out a lot of saves. I think at the end of the day, that's what people who pick up Areola are expecting. A lot of saves, maybe not so much clean sheets. Yeah, and especially also, if you remember at the start of the season, we were thinking that clean sheets are less viable simply because of the extended time that referees are being given for wasting time for fouls or injuries or any time wasting. So they're adding more time. So that's the reason. So yeah. Other than that, no issues at all. I think Palmer is a nice last day pick to have for the game week. And because I rate him as a player really. It's just that it's the players around him I'm having issues with. So yeah, Palmer, leaving City, I think was the best thing that could happen to Palmer.
Yep. I think with the extra transfer that I have to free transfer next week, I could make a decision if let's say Liverpool continue to take the likes of Darwin, Soboslai, and maybe Watkins. So rather blank again, Bowen blank again. So those two potential transfer that I'm going to pick this next week for some Liverpool assets maybe.
Yeah, so the worry with Bowen is that now they've lost Alvarez and Paqueta to suspension for this week, so it's going to hurt Bowen. He might end up having to track back more rather than be focused on attack. So that is a bit of a concern for me. I'm envious that you have Son because that's something nice to have for the last.
You can do that if you're wildcard this week. You could restructure back your team. That could be another potential thing to do. Okay, man. Let's go to your team.
Wait, can you answer this?
You
All right,
have
so my
1.5
team.
million in the bank. And
So I
what's
have one. Yeah, so I have one free transfer, and I'm looking at benching White and selling Ward Prowse for Ambuemo. So that's what I'm looking at the moment. I have looking at other options like Alvarez for Ambuni, but that involves me taking a hit. So I don't know.
right? I think you're following the traffic. Mbomo coming in. I think you did mention about fixture after that, mean Liverpool Arsenal. Is that a concern
For what? Sorry.
for Mbomo after this week?
Yeah, So I'm considering looking at the Liverpool Arsenal matchup. So I'll have to treat that as a basis. Just that I feel that Brentford could haul against West Ham for this week. Yeah, looking at the stats. So I'm still look. West Ham are looking really bad. that's the main reason why I'm considering. I think they're quite bad. Maybe not as bad as the promoted sides like Burnley and Luton and Sheffield United, but they are one of the worst after Bournemouth in terms of the existing Premier League sides as the mainstay Premier League sides.
All right. Yep. Maybe the way is to follow the bandwagon for this week. Bomo at home against West Ham. Yep. He's the talisman. He could actually score another big points this week. So, yep. I won't disagree with you, man. So those are the the team pick for this week. A quick one in terms of question me from Yun Cheong. Play one of these player, man. Charlie Taylor, Gabriel Arsenal, or Archer this week. So Taylor playing at home against Crystal Palace, Gabriel playing away to Newcastle, Sheffield United home to Wolves.
Okay. I'll throw you a stat that will tell you why Taylor is probably the best pick, and the best because Crystal Palace's XG, now bear in mind, is without Eze, but it just goes to show how bad they are without Eze. Crystal Palace XG without Eze, in the past 5 matches in total is 3.79. That's the worst. That's worse than even Sheffield United at 3.98. So with that bearing in mind, but it does depend on, we were talking about Eze here. Is he going to come back? Because if he's back, then that throws that out the window. But if he's at least on the bench, then your pick for a clean sheet would be crazily enough Taylor, even though Burnley have not kept a clean sheet. So that's something. If you want to the safe play, the thing with Archer, Jun Chiang, is that he might not even start. We don't know what's going on with
That's the concern, yeah.
With the Sheffield United lineup.
I was about to suggest Archer. That could be a pick because he's actually playing up front for Sheffield United. But the worrying is we are not certain whether he's going to play. That's all. So if you feel you want to give him a chance, I think that could be the pick.
Yeah. So for me, it boils down to if you think that Eze is going to get the start, then go for Gabriel. I think Gabriel's the pick, and then he may not keep a clean sheet, but he may, maybe he'll do a set piece. We don't know. But then Newcastle are better at defending set pieces. I think Taylor. Go for Taylor for the random factor.
Wow. All right. Before we go off, let's give a shout to our FPL Jedi League, of which the number one right now rank is actually Abang H. The manager is at 8 with 76 points last week, and you can see his team. He has Leno in goal. Okay, so interesting match this week. We mentioned about Leno could actually deliver big points against Manchester United this week. He has Cash, he has Burn, 0 points, but Newcastle actually concedes 2 goals, right? Okay, and then Simikas 6 points. He has Neto. I think he needs to address Neto for sure this week. He has this son, DRB 13 points, Medicine 6 points, and Salah 8 points, Harlan and Watkins. He actually wildcarded in game week 8, but we can see on his bench he has Anderson who can actually come in for this game week if he doesn't want to replace Neto, but Neto could actually be the one to go this week. What do you think?
Yeah, so I guess Watkins would have been damaging, being the captain, but then because he did have Diaby, so it helped to neutralize it off and end up with a decent score because he does have Haaland and Salah as well. So yeah, it's a great score. Well done, Abahij. I think his team is set for next week as well. You got Anderson to come in, no issue. So, but of course, Neto, the worry is that his price might go down, so you might consider selling him anyway. Who to pick? So you'll play Anderson instead of Burn, yeah. So because Newcastle playing Arsenal and Neto, you sell him if you're still confident of Wolves against Sheffield United, then bring in Hwang Hee-chan.
Yang Hee-chan, yes. You want?
If you feel that Brighton are going to score, then Diangra might be a decent option, cheap, not and give you funds spare.
Yep. Or you can actually, he cannot go for another Aston Villa midfielder like Douglas Luiz because he already triple up in terms of Aston Villa.
I'm not sure how much cash he has left. So.
Also want to give shout out to the top 10 teams in our league, Plekong FC. Abang H actually moving from 5th place to 1st place this week. So well done to him. Abang C, number 3, is really tight there, up there. Actually, they're sharing same point in terms of 1st place. Plekong and Abang H, 683 points. We have RX in 4th, FPL Futi Merah, Kamarensid at 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, go. We have Lai Chikang in our number 8 SM team and conclude Edmund Chong with X Elite 11 in the top 10. So if you want to join our community, do click and subscribe to our Jedi League code ZA9F60 and join the community. Alright, man. Let's wrap up. The Gameweek 11 deadline will be at 7 p.m. because the Manchester United game is at 8:30 p.m. Malaysian time. So what's your last word, man?
All the best, everyone. It's going to be a fun week. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you guys are too. Don't overly stress, of course. At the end of the day, it's just a game.
All right. Good luck to everyone also. Thank you for watching. May the force be with you this week, regardless whether you have the likes on Liverpool and Man City assets. For sure this week, they will perform. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. See you at St. James Park.